Hello, welcome to Math Talk. I'm your host, Brian Heisler, and today we're going to look at how to analyze some graphs. So let's get started. So I've given you a graph here. It's a pie chart with some percentages based on different categories, and I have some questions that go along with it. The thing about graphs is there's a lot of different questions that can be asked about them, so it's kind of hard to figure out what can be thrown at you. So I hope that these are going to be helpful when you get to analyzing the graphs. One of the questions they may ask you is something simple like, what percentage of monthly spending is used for food? So you can go to your graph, find food, which is up top here, and it's 15%. So your answer would be 15%. Pretty standard, straightforward. One of the other questions they may ask you is, what percent of monthly spending is used for clothes and savings? Well, in this case, you got to find two different values and add them up. So clothes is 6%, and savings is, on the left here, 31%. Add them up, you get 37%. Okay, still pretty straightforward, but let's get a little more in-depth. How much more of the monthly spending is used for cable than entertainment? Okay, so now you have to look at two different things, analyze them, and find a difference between the two. So you got cable versus entertainment. Cable is 14 minus your entertainment, which is 8. Well, 14 minus 8 is going to get you 6%. So that one requires you to analyze a little more and compare two or more things. These are the types of questions you may see on a pie chart. Let's take a look at a couple of bar graphs. This one is looking at a bag of M&Ms and the number of different colors that were found in that bag. There are two questions that they may ask you on the test. They may ask you, what is the average amount of each color M&Ms in the bag? Well, to find the average, remember you have to add up all the values and divide by however many there are. So if I go ahead and add up the red, the yellow, the brown, etc., I add up all those values, I'm going to get 82. And there are 6 different colors in my bag, so I'm going to divide it by 6. And when I do that, I get 13 2/3. Now, obviously, you can't really have 2/3 of an M&M, most likely. So they may ask you to round that to the nearest whole number or something like that. So keep that in mind when you get to questions like that. Another question they may ask you is based on probability. They say if an M&M is randomly picked from this bag, what is the probability it will either be red or green? Well, in a previous video, I went through probability, and when you see the word or, it means you have to add two probabilities together. So we need to find how many reds and how many greens there are. Well, according to our chart, there are 10 reds out of the total 82 M&Ms, and there are 18 green ones out of the total 82. So I pick them up randomly. I have to add them together. 10 plus 18 is 28 over 82. Now, if this were a multiple choice type question, I would probably see the reduced form of this answer as a choice. I probably wouldn't see 28 over 82. So it's important that when you look at probabilities or fractions, you reduce them. This one I know I can divide by 2, and I get 14 over 41. 41's prime, so it's not going to be able to reduce any further. So this is probably the answer choice I would see in my multiple choice questions. Let's try one more bar graph with a couple of different questions. In this bar graph, I look at the highest temperature for each day of the week, Monday through Sunday. And there's a couple of questions that they may ask you on this. It's important to know with this graph, I don't actually give you the values of each bar, unlike the last one. Most likely, they probably won't give you the values of the bar. They want you to look at each of the different dash marks to figure out what the value is. So that's important to keep in mind here. I ask you in this, between what two consecutive days is the biggest change in temperature? So this question really asks you to dig in and figure out what are the different values of each bar, and then which one has the biggest change. So what I would first do is look at going from one day to the next, where's the biggest drop off or the biggest increase? And to me, it looks like it's either going to be here to here, or maybe even here to here. So I would focus on those two values right there. If I look at the bar for Thursday, Thursday is right at 90. And then Thursday to Friday, Friday looks like it's at 101. Okay, so I know the difference between those two. If I look at Saturday, Saturday says it's about 93, let's say. And then Sunday is 79. Now that I've written down the values, I can subtract the two and figure out the biggest difference. Thursday to Friday is 11. Saturday to Sunday is 14. So 14 is definitely bigger, so it's going to be Saturday to Sunday. Okay, let's get another question. What is the difference in temperature between the hottest and coldest days of the week? Well, this one is a little easier. I just need to find the tallest bar and the shortest bar, and then subtract the two. Fortunately, I've already done that. Friday's definitely the biggest one. Sunday's definitely the smallest. So I need to figure out the difference between 101 and 79. Well, the difference there is going to be, let's see, 101 minus 79 is 22 degrees. So these types of questions are really more about analyzing what's given to you in the graph and figuring out what is the question asking. It's not simply saying, what's the temperature on Wednesday or what's the temperature on Monday? You really need to look into the information and analyze what's happening. So I hope this helps you out when you get to see some bar graphs, some pie charts in your test. Good luck. Your education will add up when you visit us at GEDyes.com. For future tips and videos, be sure to subscribe and follow.